welcome back to Accelerate and welcome back to the Astra VXR build series. Now in the previous video, which was the dyno video, we did have a couple of little issues. You can see I was just spraying coolant out of the expansion tank. Now we did think that car was overheating. It wasn't overheating, it was just getting very, very hot. A problem we had was, as you can see there's a bit of coolant around here. What it's doing is just pressurizing the system and it's actually just peeing out lots of coolant, emptying basically the coolant bottle just everywhere under the engine bay. As you can see, there's some residue everywhere. Now I was told by someone to try just changing the cap, because if you buy a cheap cap, sometimes they just don't work properly with the pressure. So I bought a genuine cap. I've done that and it's still exactly the same, unfortunately. So yeah, now I've had a couple of people say, when I went down to TTC, they've said, oh, they've overdone it. No, they haven't. Basically, my job is to make sure that the car is ready to go on the dyno. Now, we fitted the forged engine. I changed a lot of bits. One thing we never actually checked on this car when we bolted everything on it was the preload on the turbo. Now, when we were trying to get some boost out of it, it was boosting okay, but it was just, well, Ped just didn't understand why it wasn't making power. So what he'd done then was, right at the end of the day, he said, oh, have you checked the preload? And I was like, do you know what, I haven't. I literally bought the turbo off someone and just bolted it to the car with the actuator and diverter valve already fitted to it. So he took a wound at the time. He actually cut himself trying to adjust the preload. Now when he'd done the first pull on it, I think it boosted quite high, which we wasn't really expecting, because it was a bit of preload there, but not a lot. So yeah, obviously that may have caused it, but I know a couple of people say, well, it's their fault. It's not their fault. It's my fault for making sure that the car wasn't ready for the dyno. So anyway, what we're going to do today is I've actually bought a test kit. I think what I should do first, explain what head lift is. Basically, when the car is under a lot of boost and a lot of pressure, the head actually lifts off the bottom end ever so slightly, which pressurizes the coolant system, which obviously is possibly causing the issue we've got. I haven't got no other leaks on it anyway, so there's only one way that's usually going to be pressurizing the system. It could be the water pump, I've been told. I think it's head lift. I don't know what was done on the top end. I know we got Piper cams, single valve springs, so I know the engine wasn't built too long ago, but I don't know which bolts they used for the head. I've had a couple of people say to me, ARP, but then another couple of people say, don't use ARP. So if you guys can recommend what to use, please let me know, because we may have to rip this thing apart over the winter. Anyway, getting back to what we've got to do today. So, a head gasket test tests for any emissions in the coolant system. So what I've done is spoke to a friend of mine, Reese, who got in touch with the garage he deals with, and basically all they do is purchase a kit off Amazon, which is about £20 to £25, which is very similar to this. I had a deal on it because I had £5 off, plus some other discounts, so I got it for like 15 quid. So there's a lot of there's a lot of tests you can do with this kit. You get this bung here, which obviously goes into the top of the coolant expansion tank. This funny looking scientific thing, I think basically you just fill it up till it goes to there. This goes in, put the coolant stuff in. Sorry, this stuff, I'm saying coolant. This is a CO2 reaction liquid. So basically you fill the device with a fluid approximately 2 ml of the level below the chambers. Connect the opening of the expansion tank or radiator. Start the engine, run at highest speed to warm up the engine and achieve a higher combustion pressure. You leave the engine idling or slightly revs and observe the behavior of the fluid. If the color of the liquid changes to yellow or green after a few minutes, it means damaged head gasket or the cylinder head. So that's what we're looking for, basically, from blue to like a yellow or green. So I think the first thing to do is just set this up and we'll get it started and see what happens. So the device this end just simply pushes into this thing here. I'm going to try and put in as much as I can. It's about there. I can't get a bloody angle for you guys. Right, there we go. So this is known as something called a sniff test. So basically it's trying to sniff out if there's any CO2 emissions coming in through the header tank. Now the problem I'm having, it's only happening under full boost. So I'm going to have to let it idle for a bit, warm it up, and then probably grab all of it. So I'll make sure it's up to temperature and everything first, and yeah, we'll go from there. I just want to point out as well, this hasn't been started for about a week or so. I have got noisy lifters, so if I have got to take the head apart, then I will be replacing those. It does quieten down a little bit, but once again, we'll do the valve essentials, we'll do the lifters. And if we have got to rip it apart, we are going to be doing it ourselves. I've never done anything like this before in my life. I'm hoping it doesn't have to come to that, but if it does, it's content for you guys, and it's new to us. It's been only a couple of minutes now, cold start's gone. Like I said, it's only usually happening in the full boost. The scariest and hence the lumpy idle, which is pretty cool. One cool little feature I do have on this car, which came with the stereo, which is fantastic. We've got OBD port, OBD connector, and you can go into all your diagnostics and check everything. So, just want to show you guys coolant. It's never overheated, so that's never been like an issue. It's usually a sign of head gasket, but if you just get in head lift, I think that is just simply lifting enough. Just obviously to cause a bit of pressurizing through the system. So we'll let the coolant come up a little bit now. No, a bit more ticking than I usually have from the top end. Obviously it's usually gone by now, so that's quite alarming. But like I said, if we do need to rip the head off, then yeah, I will be replacing the hydraulic lifters, because that's definitely what's happening at the moment. So I won't rev it until that's calmed down a bit. Now I can see it's starting to go a little bit greenish already on the one side, so I'm pretty sure it's head lift, but obviously we need to just verify it before I go ripping the head off, spending a load of money on rebuilding the top end, and then not being that. So yeah, it's starting to go a bit green on the one side, but like I said, I'm going to let it come up to temperature just a little bit more, let the oil warm up as well, and then I can give it a couple of revs, get some boost going through it, see what it does. It's been a couple of minutes now, I haven't really revved it properly yet. It's definitely starting to turn a lighter shade on the one side. Once again, we'll let it come up to temperature. As you can see, the system is starting to pressurize a little bit. We're going to a couple of blips, but nothing major just yet. Like I said, I wanted to really come up to temperature first before I go giving it the beans, obviously. Yeah, it sounds like obviously we got a knock, but I have got a solid flywheel and a 6-pack helix clutch fitted, so it sounds horrible on takeover, and that's why people hate these. But hey ho, it is what it is. You need it for the power. So it's definitely changing colour, which definitely says to me there's CO2 in that system. We'll give it a few more minutes. So yeah, it's just injector tech now. That's all. I got Deca 875cc injectors fitted to the car, which will be for sale soon. Now, if we got to rip this thing apart and rebuild the top end, like I said, it is forged, forged rods. It hasn't got forged pistons, so we are capped on power. Let's just say over the winter, if we're rebuilding this, I've got something a little bit special for this already. Massive thanks to Superstar Motorworks. We have got a alloy radiator here with a twin fan setup, obviously for cooling reasons, which means unfortunately I'm going to have to get rid of my brand spanking new air conditioning condenser. Forget it about that, but hey ho, it is what it is. Just a little hint of what we're going for. Yes, those are Injector Dynamics 1050cc injectors. But I'm just going to give you a quick flash of something else we got. That's all you're seeing. I'm not showing any more than that. There's something else I've got as well, which is hidden. Those who know, keep it quiet, please. Right. I think it's pretty much at the temperature now, so we'll get a couple of I hate just revving it like that. It sounds so brutal, fair play. Right, let's go and see if there's any change. I can still see that it's green on the top. Now, I'm new to checking this, so at the end of the day it has changed colour a bit, so there's definitely a trace in there, and it's only usually happening when you are flat out in the car. So if you're driving in normal and you're boosting it 10 to 15 psi, it's usually okay. It's when you're up around 25, That's when you usually get the issues with it. So it's going to be quite hard to tell from this test. That is definitely going green. Obviously the system's not even pressurizing because of the cap is off essentially. This is just literally resting on top. But I think it's safe to say, guys, unless you guys can correct me, but I think we definitely got a head issue here. And like I said, I'm not going to noise is the flywheel, so please don't be alarmed by that. I'm going to put the cap back on and give it a couple of revs and see if it does. Yeah, that's definitely a different colour. Alright, there we go, guys. I took a little bit of fluid out and I'm just capping it, making sure that this is, like I say, getting it through the system. And as we can see there, because all I was doing was obviously getting out of the release valve there. So I just literally cover the release valve, put some pressure on there, and that has 100% changed colour. So, you know what that means? Damn! So there we have it, guys. The worst news that we could get. Obviously, gone through a lot with this car this year. Changed the engine, gone for bigger power, spent a lot of money on this thing already. But yeah, a little bit gutted, but this was expected. Now, as I said, the winter's come in now. I am going to America in 2 months, but the plan is we have a show now on Saturday, which I'm going to take the car to, obviously driving it as steady as I can. So I'm going to get these things done first before the car comes off the road. We're going to strip the head off. We're going to send it up to, I believe, Mike Lyons Engineering, which is just up the road from me in Bromar. I'm going to go and have a chat with him today to see what they recommend doing while it's off. So yeah, I got to start ordering some bits. Can you guys let me know which head bolts you would use? Like I said, the ARP studs and nut, I've been told, are really good from some people, but then for other people I've been told are really bad. Once again, conflicting information. I would have thought they'd be better being a stud and nut. They're not designed to stretch like the head bolts, which would obviously reduce head lift in my eyes, but I don't know. Like I said, this is all new to me. So yeah, get ready. We're going to strip this thing down. It's going to come back bigger and better because, like I said, we're going bigger powered again. So stay tuned. I don't know what else to say, really. I'm a little bit like I said, I was expecting it, but I am obviously a little bit gutted. It will be going back down to TTC for mapping when we get this all sorted out with the new setup we're going for. So yeah, well, it gives you guys content over the winter. Once again, my builds. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. And it went boom.